what is meant by gender budgeting, and why is it an important tool for governments and policymakers? If you can explain that, and how is it followed in India?
Yeah.
Also, if you can
See,
explain.
yeah. So gender budgeting is not a separate budgeting, but deciding the government allocation, the public expenditure from the gender lens, whether it is creating a more enabling environment or disabling environment. In India, our focus is mainly on the 5 important areas of gender gaps that we see. One is education at all levels, say whether it's a school education or university education, even streams of education, because you see ghettoization of girls and women only in arts and commerce. While when it comes to the professional colleges, which are more and more privatized and more expensive, you see that they don't get level playing field. So that is one. Education is a very important area. Second one is a health, because India is known to have a very high maternal mortality, morbidity, and even as per the latest NFHS 5, anemia is a major challenge that for Indian women. And that is not only due to poverty, but also due to gender norms. Indian women eat last, least, leftover. And child mortality is also quite high. And even after the Millennium Development Goal, we've been able to reduce it to half, but still African countries has also moved ahead. Even other South Asian countries have been ahead of us in this thing. Third important aspect is employment, which is the most distressing reality, because right from in the year 2000, we boasted of 40% women in the workforce, Indian women, which reduced to, say, by 2013, it was some 34%. And after the Nirbhaya tragedy, what we saw is drastic decline. And by 2017, we had 23%. And during the pandemic, it became 19%. Now government says it's 21%, which is miserably low. Because at the one level, UGC is boasting about churning out millions of girls with women with degrees. But why these degrees don't translate into career and employment? That's a major challenge. And so many studies have shown basically the 4 reasons. One is the childcare, then our population pyramid is becoming top heavy. So we have senior citizens to look after. 20 states have already become below stabilization. That means couples are producing less than 2 children. And the burden of childcare as well as elderly care falls on women. Third, very important reason is that of automation, mechanization, artificial intelligence. The major X falls on women. Women are the first one to lose the job when such thing happens. And even when the re-employment opportunities happen, it is men who enter into the new field, because women are not skill ready, which the new economy requires. And the fourth one is a question of safety, which has become extremely important. Safety from the residents to the workplace, and so many at the workplace also, when 92% of women, Indian women, are in the informal sector. That means they have no social security, no social protection. So not only that they get exploited in terms of not getting minimum wages and all the protective labor legislation that provide those provisions, but it is also sexploitation. Sexual harassment at workplace is rampant. So these 4 are most debilitating aspects, and that also we need to address. Not only through budget, so fund allocation is important, funds, functions, functionaries are important, but at the same time to have a protective policies and creating a very strong structures and mechanism to address these issues. Third. Fourth one is that of a decision making, because in no area, except for Panchayati Raj institution, where around 20 states have accepted 50% reservation for women, and others have 33%. Kashmir and Nagaland have not even implemented PRI Act. But when it comes to the upper houses like Legislative Assembly, Legislative Council, Parliament, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, everywhere where stakes are high, power is more, there you see very, very low percentage of women, even as compared to our neighboring countries like Bangladesh, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. Our percentage of women in those decision-making bodies is there. Leave aside political structures, but even in industry and administration, governance structures, criminal justice system, there is a very, very miserably low representation of women. So decision-making, that is the fourth area where we need to bridge the gender gap. And fifth one is gender-based violence. The forms, intensity, and the numbers of gender-based violence increase. And during the pandemic, we saw that it escalated so much, like right from the new like distress calls which the National Commission for Women received, more than 3 lakh 75,000 calls which they received, and that itself shows that these are extremely debilitating factors which we need to address by translating gender commitments into financial commitments, so that we can have funds and functionaries, sensitization program, awareness generation on this issue. So this is a major mandate for the gender responsive budget.
I want to ask, like, what are the main categories in our governance where, which sort of comes under gender budgeting? Like, how do we sort of, like something like Ministry of Women and Child Welfare is an obvious thing, and how is it, say, different from, say, social sector budgeting?
So I think first is currently, like the first GR about gender responsive budgeting came in 2005, where all ministries and departments of the union government as well as the states and union territories were asked to start gender budgeting process. So currently around 18 states are giving gender budget statements. Separate listing of gender commitments that is given by 6-7 governments, like all 5 southern states, and Maharashtra is also given separate listing. The funds which are targeted to women and girls. So funds of Ministry of Women and Child Development is 100% targeted to women and children. In other departments, wherever there are anti-poverty programs, development-oriented budget, at least 1/3 should go to women. The beneficiaries should be women. And there are 4 types of schemes and programs you have. Currently, 54 ministries and departments are submitting gender budget report, quarterly report you have to submit. They are doing that. So in that, there are 100% allocation, which are the schemes like crash scheme or Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, okay, trafficking of women and girls. This is 100% targeted to. Then you have a 33, all the flagship programs, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana or MG Narega or Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. There has to be women's component. The way we have a scheduled caste component, the way we have tribal subplan component, the way we have a component for the persons with disability, and now even the transgender community and senior citizens and child rights organizations are also demanding their share of a pie. No? So that is there. So that they are 33% should beneficiary minimum should be women. That is second. Then third one are gender neutral scheme. They are meant for all. Integrated village development program, National Rural Health Mission, National Urban Health Mission. These are meant for all. Women also benefit from that. No? Even transport, electricity. And fourth one is a residual fund that you have. Like if we had a disaster management fund, okay. Last year, 2 years we had pandemic, and that fund got utilized. But this year we don't have pandemic, but still there is fund. No? So if you are sensitive and if you are careful, you will not allow that fund to lapse. Fund is already parked for this, so you can use it. If you convince the bureaucrat, and bureaucrats are able to convince the politician, this can be used for gender empowerment. So these 4 types of allocations you have, that you have to be very clear about, and that's why. And because see, if fund is parked in the ministry or department, and if it is not channelized to the targeted audience group, this year if you don't use it, next year automatically the fund will get reduced because they say that you have no capacity. Maybe there is no demand. There is no demand from the community. It is not required. Maybe that problem is already addressed. That it would be interpreted like that, and there will be slashing of